Hey, welcome back to the magical world of Photoshop. I'm Joy with you from PixelCity, and today we are removing the acne, pimples, or whatever marks we find on the screen, on the human skin, of course. So you can see this image when I zoom into this image. Okay, let's zoom in. You see there are lots of marks, pimples, acne, whatever you call it, and we need to get rid of those things. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now you can do one thing, you can download the sample file. This is my own image I'm working with because I was not sure about the copyright images that I was finding on the internet. Alright, I will start by tapping Ctrl or Command J, duplicate my layer, duplicate my background layer to layer 1. I always keep a backup of the background layer. So okay, I'm working with the layer 1, and you see this is a destructive. Okay, this is a destructive method. So alright, let's get started. So see, you see here it's called the healing brush tool. You open the dialog box, it opens as spot healing brush tool, patch tool, or content ever move tool. Now we can use all the 4 tools to remove the spots, dark spots, pimples, acne, any kind of things we want to remove from the skin. Alright, spot healing brush tool, patch tool, and content ever move tool. But the most important and the most powerful is the healing brush tool, of course, but I'm showing you the purpose of the all 4 things. Okay, so let's start with the spot healing brush tool. Now see, with the spot healing brush tool selected, you have a brush you can work with. Alright, you can change the size of the brushes by tapping the 3rd bracket keys. Alright, now you see when you click on a mark with the spot healing brush tool selected, you see click on this one, it's fixed. Now what it does, when you click, it automatically samples the surrounding areas and copies and pastes it over the area you selected. Alright, so this is the work of the spot healing brush tool. Now coming to the next tool is the healing brush tool. So this has a similar function like the spot healing brush tool, but without automatic sampling, we have to sample that manually. Now see, to sample that manually, we have to hold down the Alt option on our keyboard. Now this brings a target icon like this one. Alright, now see, to remove this spot, we have to find which area will be matching with this spot. Now if I select this area, I think it matches. Alright, I select this area, hold on Alt or option, and left click on my mouse button to select that area. You see this part has been sampled to my brush. Now I will set my brush size accordingly. I will get over the acne, pimple, mark, whatever you call it, and I will left click with my mouse, and boom, it's done. Alright, so now coming to the next tool is the patch tool. Now see, the previous tool we used a brush, right? It used a brush, or whatever you say, a circle, marquee, whatever you just click on that spot and it samples the area. Now see, sampling is common in every case, whether you automatically sample it or whether you manually sample it, it's all common in all the 4 tools. So without any brush or without any circles, it allows you to free select with the lasso tool. You know the work of the lasso tool? Let's see. So when you select around the acne with the lasso tool, now you see after you have selected the part you want to get rid of, what you have to do is you have to take the selection to the part you want to sample with, and it's done. Now to remove the selection, tap Ctrl or Command D. It removes the selection. Now coming to the next tool is the content ever move tool. What's this difference with the patch tool? When you selected the patch tool, you select a part with the patch tool and you patch this part. Suppose you patch this part with this part, it copies this part to this part. Now you see, the basic difference was that you selected this part. When you have selected the patch tool, you take this part to this part and it samples this part to this part. But this is totally different. You select this part, so the content ever move tool, when you take this part here, it copies this part to this part. Alright, so this is just the opposite. Now so this is again not a very useful trick, I guess, because you see I have to manually sample this one. Now coming to the usefulness of this tool, you cannot just sample a uneven part or whatever part you want to change with the part you want to change with. So how can we change it? We have to select at first the part we want to change the part with. Alright, now when we have that part selected, we have to take that part over the part we want to replace. Now click on the right icon and see the magic. This part has been already sampled with the around matching areas, and again this part is matched with these samples. But you see, sometimes it doesn't works really well because it has a lot more functionalities in areas, moving text or from any part of the image. If you have text or any kind of other things, you want to move a bird from a sky, see this kind of function it has. So it's never really very useful in cases like removing acne, dark spots, or whatever you say. So I prefer you to stick with the spot healing brush tool and the healing brush tool. Now why healing brush tool has an advantage over the spot healing brush tool? You see, spot healing brush tool, it automates the process. All right, suppose I click on this one. Now it does a very good job in these cases, but it's not always. Because you see, when you are running short on time, spot healing brush tool, of course it will have a great advantage. But the healing brush tool, why? Because spot healing brush tool automates the process. So it's not really guaranteed that every time you get a proper result. I mean, at times you see, when you select this part you get a great result, but at times it does things that you don't really want. So at that time you have to sample those things not automatically. So at those times you have to sample those things manually. I mean, you see, I can use the spot healing brush tool to remove the highlights from this part. But when I'm using the healing brush tool, I'm clicking on the alt or option on Mac. I'm selecting this part. When I'm clicking on this part, I'm making sure that only this part is selected. So when I'm clicking with that, I guarantee that only the part I want to sample with is sampled. But it is not the same with the spot healing brush tool, right? So that's why I recommend you to stick to the healing brush tool when you have much time over the spot healing brush tool. Again, spot healing brush tool is amazing. Photoshop has designed the spot healing brush tool in such a way that it amazes you every time you use it, but still it has some deficiency when you are comparing with the healing brush tool. So stick with the healing brush tool and remove the spots. So suppose I'm selecting this part and again clicking on this part, it removes the spot. I'm selecting this part, I'm clicking on this part, it removes the spot. This was a very simple trick to remove the dark spots, acne, pimples, or whatever you find uneven things on the skin. It was a very simple process. So if you have liked this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel as well. Not just subscribe, be sure to hit that bell icon so you, my friends, don't miss any update on Photoshop or Lightroom. So thank you guys, thanks for watching again. I'll see you guys in my next one, and till then, make sure you keep creating.